You hear the Democrats out there, everybody's going to starve because the Republicans are mean and they won't open the government. Obviously, the Republicans can't open the government. They've all already voted to say, yes, let's do the CR, and the Democrats are the one that are stopping it. But they literally are focusing on babies and children, and families aren't going to be able to eat. So it made me think when I saw the number 42 million people in this country are on food stamps or on SNAP. And way ahead of me was Ami Horowitz, great filmmaker. He, of course, is a journalist at Ami Horowitz over on the social media. Ami, good to see you again. How you doing?
Always a pleasure, Joe. I'm doing great. Thanks, man.
You know, people like you and me, we push away any sort of government entitlement. I want all my freedom and liberty. I don't want the government to control anything in my life. So I haven't been on SNAP. I'm guessing you haven't, but you decided, let me go and live like somebody who is on SNAP for a minute. First of all, last week when we found out, and you might have known this before because of what you do, did you realize 42 million people in this country were getting free food from you and me?
Yeah, the truth is I didn't know that. I knew it was a large number, but 42 million people is a massive, massive number. And put aside, look, obviously there's empathy. When I make this video, it comes from an empathetic place, right? It's not coming from a place like, hey, you should get anything. The idea is there are people who need assistance, no question about it. But by the way, SNAP stands for supplemental nutrition, okay? It's not meant to be, this is the way you're going to live, right? It's not meant to be, this is your lifestyle going forward. All these programs are to assist. There's a reason why it's called assistance, right? It's supposed to help you. And the idea is you don't want to continue to live on it forever. Who wants to live like that? But the reason why I made this video was to understand that, you know what? One can live, one could survive in a very nutritious and healthy way quickly. You know, you always hear a story, hey, okay, but no one has the time to make food, right? And I want to see, well, I don't know if that was true because I know I cook for myself a lot, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't take that much time. It really, really doesn't. So I wanted to put it to the test and see what happens. But yeah, 42 million is an incredible worrying number. And by the way, there's a significant amount of those 42 million who are not even legally allowed to be in this country, yet they still are getting assistance from our country paid for by our tax-paying dollars.
It doesn't make any sense. It's Ami Horowitz. Go and check this out. Follow him on X. He's posted some videos over on X. I went to go and see what he did here. The word supplemental, actually, I knew what SNAP stood for, but it didn't really ring true until you just explained it like that. People who get SNAP or food stamps, they're also getting free lunch at school, which actually boggles my mind. Wait a second. So we're giving you money for food to feed your family, except when they're at school, we'll feed them for free as well. So you're getting free food on top of free food. When you and I were kids, and I think I'm a little older than you, but when you and I were kids, we had kids in school, or we saw people at the grocery store literally using food stamps. And I think to your point, you didn't want to be on it forever because A, it was a big, fat, ugly looking, colorful, piece of paper that you had to use. It wasn't on an EBT card, or it wasn't on some sort of a debit card. You just got to swipe it. Hey, reload my card. Nobody's ever reloaded my card. The way we've changed how entitlements go in this country makes it harder for people to get off of it, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, they've taken away the shame factor from it, right? I think that's the idea, is that, and that's one of the reasons why I think it was set up that way. Is like you don't want to have to be like I said, on this forever. But now, look, I've had people who've used EBT cards, right, with colloquially we call food stamps, in line in the grocery store. And yeah, let's look at a regular debit card. You can't really tell the difference just by looking at it. And not that I'm looking to shame people for being on it. There's people who really need assistance, right? And that's not the point of the video. But the point of it is, look, you could do it in a very healthy, and I would say tasty way, frankly. I'm a decent cook, right? I'm not a chef, but I'm anybody can do it. It's not that difficult. And yeah, I think the idea is, from the days that when we were kids, it was something you didn't want to be, right? You didn't want to be proud of it. You wanted to have it. It was there to help you, and that was it.
Well, I'm going to be meaner than you, Ami, because I do want people to feel shame, because I think you and I both know there are a lot of able-bodied people who can go to work, can get food for themselves and their families, but decide not to. They want it from Ami, they want it from Joe. Now, those who really need it, you and I are completely in alignment. I want them to get it. There are people who really do need our help, and I believe that we should provide that as a community. I never thought the government should do it. I thought a faith-based organization should do it. I thought soup kitchens should do it that we fund in our communities. I thought food banks should do it. The fact that the government does it means there's a lot of red tape, a lot of bureaucracy, and a lot of wasteful spending. But I really don't think anybody who who has the ability to get up and go to work like you and I do every day should be able to get all this help from us. And I think that if you add the shame factor back in, they'll stop asking for that help. So let's cut to the chase. You decided to live on what the amount would be for SNAP. Was this a week thing, a monthly thing? How long did you do this? For a week?
I did it for a week, and the SNAP benefits for a single person for a week is about $75.
Okay. And how does that work out? You go to the grocery store, I'm going to spend $75, and how did you live? I mean, were you starving? Did you get by? Fill us in on what we're going to see when we go and see this.
Yeah. So no, I was there was no starvation. I ate 3 meals a day. I normally skip breakfast normally, but I ate breakfast for the purpose of this experiment because I think most people do eat breakfast. No, 3 healthy meals a day. The idea was, look, you don't have to live. I didn't say I would say cheat days, but
right.
there was you got some potato chips once in a while. There's no reason why you can't splurge a little bit of something. You have some a little bit of junk food once in a while. But I try to keep it within a certain caloric and healthy, nutritious feel for it, and that was the idea. And by the way, I want to make one other point. Because we use these terms, the terms are important. We use the term entitlement, right? And this is because what ends up happening when we use the word entitlement is that people feel entitled to it, right?
Yeah.
And that's not the idea for this assistance. You're not entitled to anything. We are offering it to you to help you through tough spots if you're able-bodied, or if you're not, we'll give it to you for a longer period of time, obviously. But I don't like when we set it up as an entitlement, because that's why it's once you give something to somebody and they make them feel entitled to it, that's why you can't take it away. That's why we have this fight today. The fight is so significant because it's almost impossible to take something away once you've given it. And that's why I say kudos to Donald Trump saying, look, I'm gonna put and this is not a populist thing, obviously. This is what people call him populist. This is not populist, right? This is a difficult thing for him to do. It's easier to say, sure, we'll give it to you. Why not? It's just more votes, what the Democrats do.
Right.
But kudos to Trump. I'm glad that he's doing. He's saying, look, we have put a line in the sand. We are out of control of our spending. We got to find a way to rein it in.
I couldn't agree more. I used the word entitlement earlier, but you're right; it's incorrect. I think the only entitlements we have are Medicare and Social Security, because we pay into them. We're entitled to get that money back, and they should be investing it wisely, which of course the government isn't. I would like to see that privatized as well. But you're right: food stamps and Medicaid and all this other stuff, welfare. Those are not entitlements. Those are like a helping hand to get you from point A to point B. But we never get people off of them. I think you're absolutely right. Go follow Ami at Ami Horowitz over on X at Ami Horowitz. Ami, should I show a little bit of this video? What do you think?
Let's do it.
Okay, let me do that.
I'm Ami Horowitz, and there are those who say that you can't live on food stamps. They're just not generous enough, and it's too expensive to buy food in the inner cities. Well, I'm here at Seatown in Harlem to find out if I can live exclusively on food stamp benefits for a week.
Ami on the loose.
The food stamp benefits in New York for a single person is $73 per week, and nearly $1,000 a month for a family of 4. In this video, I will live on $73 per week while making healthy and easy food recipes. I'm gonna start with some salad stuff. I definitely am a big fan of salad. Definitely got a couple cucumbers, personally partial to plum tomatoes. We're gonna stay away from anything kind of pre-packaged. Like these fruits are super, to get something that's already cut in a box, just too expensive.
I'm going to stop it there because I want people to go and see it on your X. Go to his X right now and go check it out. But I do have a bit of a beef. You're only eating healthy stuff. Food stamps, when you and I were growing up, you could only get healthy, unprepared stuff. In this day and age, you literally can go and get almost anything, can't you?
They actually, it was that way. They've actually adjusted a bit. So there's a number of things you can't do. But I'll tell you this. People always talk about, so much, the reason why there's so much obesity in the black community, the poor community, because they have to eat at McDonald's. It's all they can afford. McDonald's is not cheap, by the way. If you got for a family of 4 to get a burger and fries and a Coke, you're talking $40, $30 for a family of 4. It's not, it is way, way cheaper I bought salmon, veal chops, salad, vegetables, turkeys. I ate healthy. I ate delicious. Yeah, sure. There's some chips here and there. But I think the key is that you can buy. Again, you don't have to. It's not that you have to live or eat frugally. You can splurge. You can eat well. That was the point in this video. And also, I want to make the point. I said in the video, people say, "Oh, well, things are cheaper when you're not in the inner city." Not true. I shopped in Harlem to make the point that I'm buying food where other people who are poor and people who are using SNAP benefits are buying their food. It was the same price as my neighborhood in the Upper West Side of Manhattan.
Go and check him out at Ami Horowitz. Is it also AmiHorowitz.com, Ami?
Yeah, but that, nobody uses .com. It's all social media these days, Joe. You know that.
Well, that's true. Yeah, go follow him on IG. Go follow him on X. It's at Ami Horowitz. I wanted to ask you as a New Yorker, and I'm from Metro New York originally, but I haven't lived there for a very long time. Just give me your thoughts as a New Yorker about this Mamdani guy. Is he really going to win, knowing that he's basically just saying yes to anything anybody wants to hear? Even Saturday Night Live made fun of him the other day. Is this guy really going to get the office? And do we really have to settle for Andrew Cuomo, for God's sakes?
So the polls are actually showing that it is narrowing significantly.
Yeah, saw that.
I still holding out hope he is not going to win. I will tell you this, is that Curtis Sliwa, who I've liked, right, and I've known for years, I got to say, the point, he really wants Mamdani to win. I think this is why he's not. That's the dirty little secret, right?
Really?
He wants Mamdani to win because he becomes relevant again. Okay, he knows he's not going to win, and if he dropped out, all the polls showed that Cuomo would take the mayorship, but he's not doing that because he wants to be back in the public eye. He wants to be relevant again. If Mamdani wins, I'm holding Curtis accountable for this. I've got to tell you, but I will say that a lot of Curtis's, which the polls are showing, is a lot of Curtis's supporters are getting the message, and they're not supporting what Curtis is doing, and I think they're starting to move toward Cuomo's camp. So, I would have said it was, look, the wise guys in Vegas had Mamdani like 75%. I think it's narrowed down to not quite a toss-up, but I would say it's closer to 60-40 at this point.
Oh, wow.
So I'm holding out hope that we got a chance that Marxist Mamdani will not take the mayorship of New York. And even though, look, I live in New York, right? So I don't want him to win. And if I was not in New York, I would say to New Yorkers, you buy the ticket, you take the ride.
Yeah.
But I live here, so I don't want to see him as mayor.
But Ami, Cuomo, you guys kicked him out of office. I mean, all these women were saying he did all this stuff. I mean, after you got kicked out of office, he's wearing a freaking bathrobe, walking around his house like that nutso mobster from years ago. I mean, that's the hope, Andrew Cuomo.
This is the sad state of New York, my friend.
God.
This is Cuomo's the worst. Oh my God, I can't. Every time he did those insufferable press conferences during COVID.
Horrible.
He thought he was it was awful. It was horrific. But things are so bad that Cuomo is the option that we're looking at, as saying he may save New York from the pits of socialism / Marxism.
And you don't think that Curtis actually wants to win? Now, I know Curtis Sliwa. We're reasonable friends. I mean, we've known each other a long time, but I don't hang out with him. I really, really thought he could have beaten Eric Adams last time. But you think he wants to be in? Mamdani wins, and then New York hits critical mass like it did before Giuliani? Or Curtis suddenly is the savior somehow? I guess I'm not following that angle of it.
I think it's exactly it. I think he's saying, look, for me to be back in the public eye, New York City has to go. Remember, his heyday was in the 70s and 80s, right? When it was post-apocalyptic in the city. You couldn't go on the subway for real, and without being in danger. Right now, it's the subways. I got to be honest. The subways, we make a little too much of it. The subways are definitely more unsafe than they were before. The trend is bad, but it's not like you feel like you can't go on the subways, right? But I really feel that he wants to go back to those days so that, his red berets can come back and he again can be looked upon as the savior of New York. Look, I wish that wasn't true, but there's no other reason why he wouldn't drop out. Of course he knows he's not going to win. Of course he's not, right? Yeah. He's never polled above 15%, but he's doing it because I think here
I am to save the day. I think you said it right. Here I am to save the day. I mean, he sticks his chest out and says, I'll save you.
I really do. Yeah. I like him, but I think that's the case.
One last question on that, because I want to move on to bail. But why doesn't New York with 8 million people have better candidates available? I mean, what the hell am I looking at here? Really? Only a Cuomo or Curtis, who's been around since 79, or some freaking actor on Disney? Those are the only 3 that were available? Why aren't there better quality candidates, do you think?
I mean, you could ask that same question nationally. right?
Yeah.
I mean, the best the Democrats could come up with was Joe Biden, right? And then Kamala Harris.
Or Kamala Harris, right?
I mean, right? I mean, look, you pick a lane, right? I mean, at least if you're gonna do it, either pick somebody really ideologically on the left or really ideologically on the right, or center right. Not someone as awful as wishing. I mean, Kamala Harris was one of the worst candidates of all time.
No. Last week she said many people have said she was the most qualified person to ever run. What are you thinking, Horowitz? Come on.
Of course. Mea culpa. I apologize.
And they handed her the nomination. Not one primary vote. Didn't even have to do a primary. And Nancy Pelosi, as much as I can't stand her, was right. We should actually do a primary. So, I mean, I don't, you're right. So, point well taken. Nationally, we either have a Bush or an Obama or a Biden, who those are the only people we could turn to. I think you're right. 340 million people. We need to come up with better candidates. So, in your heart of hearts, why doesn't that happen? Is it whoever's in the money, whoever's in the group? They're the only ones that can be considered? I don't get it.
No, I think the reasoning behind it is that, I think there's a couple reasons. First of all, qualified candidates, guys who can really make a difference, they have choices in life, right? And the choices are, they can be the private sector, they can earn a living, they don't have to be attacked in the public eye, be torn apart every single day. Unless you're a supreme narcissist, it's, you don't want to go through that. I mean, Trump loves it, right? Trump lives for, let's be honest, I love Trump as president. He is a true narcissist, right? He loves when people talk about him, good or bad. Most people, that's not the way they're built. That's not what they want out of life, right? They've got kids, they've got a family, they have to support themselves. I think there needs to be this is off topic, but I think we have to do a rejiggering of how we do our political process. It's just not working. We're not getting great candidates.
No, I couldn't agree more. It's Ami Horowitz. Go to @Ami Horowitz on Instagram, also on X. Go follow everything that he does. All right, let's talk about bail. You went to Harlem again, and I love when you go there and you talk to some people in Harlem. How do you feel about bail? Is it racist? And what did you find out?
Yeah, I mean, going to Harlem is my favorite. I mean, the black community gets it, right? They do. When we talk, when the left talks about all of these issues, right? And they talk, it's the bigotry of low expectations, right? We don't use that term enough, and it's so true with the left. So the video begins where I actually go to the East Village, right? The beating heart of wokeism and leftism in New York City. And I asked them, do you think bail is racist? I didn't come across a single individual who didn't say bail was racist, right? Wow. And I said, why is it racist? Well, because black people can't afford it. Black people don't have the money. It's all about black people, right? The focus is on black people. And then at the end of that one segment, I asked them if I went to Harlem, I asked them the same question. How would they answer? They go, of course they would say bail is racist. When I went to Harlem, some people didn't understand the question. It was so ridiculous and stupid. They asked me to repeat it several times. And again, not a single person, Joe, not one, said it was racist. And then when I went further and said, is cashless bail a problem for your community? They all said, of course, crime is up because of it, right? That's what the system we have in New York now is that for many crimes, you don't have to post bail. And the recidivism rate for people who aren't posting bail is significantly higher, obviously. And they feel it because I said they're on the front lines of this. And they look at me and they say, for white people, it's this white savior complex, right?
Yes.
That we know better than you poor black people. You guys don't know anything. You don't know enough. We're telling you what the world should be like in your community. And they look at me like I have two heads when I ask that question. It's such a ridiculous question. I didn't find a single person, not one, who said bail was a problem. In fact, some people said it's actually a positive.
How do you wake up the white liberal bleeding heart? The white liberal bleeding heart doesn't think black people know how to go to Kinko's and print something. They don't think they know how to get a voter ID or a photo ID of any sort. Most of them have driver's licenses. I've never met a black person that have a driver's license, but the white liberal doesn't think they can, doesn't think they know how to get on the internet in the inner city. They don't think they know how to use a computer. I think Joe Biden said they don't know how to use computers. Well, how do we change that mindset? Because, I mean, is it a matter of black people saying, hey, stop it? I know how to do those things. I'm not an idiot. Or is it a matter of we just ignore them at some point? I'm glad that you expose them like you do. But how do we change that in their hearts and minds? They think they're the most racist people. Black people, Hispanics are beneath them and don't know how to do regular everyday things.
Yeah, I'll tell you exactly how. they're going to wake up to it when the black vote moves away from the Democratic Party, as we
Yes.
see it happening now, specifically among black men. When they lose the black vote, which has been the structure that's held the Democratic Party, right? And we're seeing it now. And look, one can argue. Look, Mamdani he didn't get votes. He didn't win in Harlem. He didn't win in the Bronx.
Right.
He didn't win in Washington Heights. He won Williamsburg and Soho and Tribeca, okay? Mamdani is not winning the Hispanic vote and the black vote. And I think that when they realize, hey, that in speaking down to black people is not going to win us the black vote, I think when they're going to realize maybe we went down the wrong path here. When they start voting Republican, which they are starting to, and hopefully they will in much larger numbers, that's when I think they may wake up and say, maybe this was a mistake. Maybe they handled this the wrong way.
I think you make perfect sense. I love everything you do. Go follow Ami Horowitz over on X. It's just his name, first and last name, AMI Horowitz. Also on IG. You'll see the one about bail on IG. You'll see the one about, I don't know if you have the food stamps one on IG as well, but I know that's on X. Go follow everything that he does. I love your work, Ami. Come back again soon. Thanks so much for the time.
I will, Joe. You're the man, man.
All right, brother. We'll talk soon. We're back after this. Stay right here.